Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. Oh, we have a letter that came in today from Jeff Stone. And Jeff says, I have been following the daily lessons for a long time and they have a great effect on my game. I have won the Club Net Championship 2 years on the trot since starting with you. However, I have a recurring problem. When I start my round, particularly on cold mornings, of which we get many here in England, I figured that was not somewhere in the United States when you said won it 2 years on the trot. Never heard that around here, so that explains it. So welcome from England here, from us here. It says, when I start my round, particularly on cold mornings, of which we get many in England, I find that I am having very inconsistent hits, and the only way that I seem to be able to overcome this is to consciously stop my swing at the top of the backswing. This works, but it doesn't seem correct. Does the Surge have any hints for me? Jeff Stone. Does the Surge have any hints? Of course I have them. And I got probably more than one today, okay? Jeff, I want to start off by addressing the comment about pausing at the top. The golf swing has to be continuity of flow, all right? And I think that's where you're getting your issues now, because if you pause at the top, you basically brought everything to a stop. That means you've got to restart everything and move to the ball. So you've lost your flow. That would be like a pitcher getting up here and pausing, the tennis player getting up there and going like that, and then trying to serve. Once you put the stretch on your muscles and they've all stretched one way, the whole key to maintaining good tempo, good timing. Tempo is the rhythm at which we make our swing. I mean, what drum beat does your brain make your body move to? In other words, we can have a very slow rhythmic drum beat. We know some players are really slow, and then we got faster tempos. All right, and I think in many cases our tempo is based on our personality. You see guys walking down a fairway like this, you know, and sometimes they look like they're sleepwalking. They're pretty much going to have one of those slow, smooth, methodical, even kind of lazy-looking swings. Then you see a guy that's Type A personality, and he's cruising down the fairway. He's going to have a very likely the same the opposite swing, where his swing, to be consistent, will have to be more speedy. All right, because that's part of his metabolism. That's his timing and his tempo. All right, so tempo is the speediest swing. Timing is the proper sequential movement of the parts of the body to make a correct swing. Sometimes they call that the kinetic chain now in scientific terms. But the whole key is that everything has to move properly. But the whole key is that it's muscles that are swinging a golf club. So when I stand here and I keep the wide knees out with pressure and I'm swinging up to the top and I'm lifting my arms up, I'm getting this great stretch that I can feel from my ankles up through my calves, through my knees, up my thighs, into my back and hips up into the back and into my shoulders and neck. I feel this total stretch of everything. So the second I ring the bell and bump, what happens? This goes this way, just puts more stretch on all those muscles, and all I got to do is let it fall. Now remember, you heard me say fall, not pull it up before I come down, because I'm 3/4. You're 3/4, it'll pull. But the point is that continuity of flow will give the stretch that'll pull the muscles down and to get everything to snap the other way. So all the muscles that were stretched had an opposite muscle group that were contracted. Well, they switch. The contracted ones start to stretch, and the stretched ones start to contract, and that's what creates the snap and the speed of swinging up. But that only happens in continuity of flow. So the question becomes, why do you feel you have to pause at the top? Now, again, you say, when I start my round on cold mornings. So to me, I got two hints there. You're starting your round and the morning's cold. That's why I make sure I put on quite a heavy jacket here. I mean, I got a heavy windbreaker type sweater type thing. I got that on. I got a long sleeve shirt underneath. As you can see, it's a beige shirt. It's got some stripes on it. All right. And even right now below that, because it's pretty chilly out here, like a chilly morning in Great Britain, I have sort of some type of warm underwear shirt that I wear, and I got different ones. I bought some that says warm, warmer, warmest. I got different thicknesses I can put on. So I like to wear the least I can wear, but it has to be free. It can't be clingy. See, for me, this jacket with my long arms is almost too tight. So whenever I want to make every hit, I still got to pull, no matter how cold it is, I got to pull these sleeves up a little bit. That little thermal underwear thing I'm wearing, the sleeves, for me, my arms are so long. Even when I buy large size, I fit it. Most large sizes are plenty big for me. The shirts hang way low on me because I don't have that big a torso. but the sleeves are always way too short. I got to pull them up, because if I don't pull them up, by the time my arms start stretching, if they're down, by the time my arms start stretching, these things are binding, and they're cutting me down. They're interrupting my free flow of motion. So you got to make sure that, especially in your arms, that you can get that pure lift, and there's no binding of whatever clothes you're wearing on your arms, binding your arms and tightening them up, or at least not letting them stretch and move at a nice proper speed, and or that what you're wearing here is going to stretch. So I mean, like, even when I go to golf course, 99% of the time when I walk to that first tee, the first thing I do is I'll pull my shirt out a little bit more and everything else, because after you tuck it in your pants at the house and everything else, I pull that. I'm going to get up here and I'm going to pull them out, because again, if it's too tight and the body part of my shirt binds on me to get up there, I might have trouble. And so again, maybe if your clothes was actually a little too binding and tight, they were still tucked in your slacks too much, after you swung a few times, they start to stretch out a little bit. That might be it. So you got to make sure you're wearing adequate clothes to protect you from the elements, but that there's plenty of maneuverability in them. All right? And as I said, I got to pull up my sleeves all the time. You know, I'm going to work, man, I'm pulling up my sleeves because I don't want any hint here. Like, I remember a few years back at TPC Sawgrass to the Players Championship, on the 17th hole of the Wednesday practice round, they always have this contest where the pros will put money in a jar for the caddies, and the caddies get one shot. They drop the bag and they take a practice swing and they hit the ball. And it's say when they play it from, it's probably most of them hitting, if they're any kind of decent player, never more than 9-iron. And this one year, DJ's caddy stood up there, and he's been a good player. He played high school golf with DJ and everything else, and he's a pretty good player, and he could smoke it. He got up there and he got his 9-iron or pitching wedge, and he hit this shot and he sculled it, and this thing was like a bullet, and it was just going like a bullet flying the green. And if you've ever been to TPC or watched it on TV, from the back of that green, the lake goes to where people sit on the bank on the other side, and it's got to be 30 yards over that green to get to that bank. And he hit a rocket right in there that just landed between a man and his wife. Just going, they never saw it coming. This thing didn't get off the ground. And the first thing he said was, he said, "Damn, man, my shirt bound on me, and I couldn't get back to the ball." So that happens even in the summertime when all he had was a golf shirt on. Okay, so you got to get that room. Last but not least, probably might be just as important or more important, is, are you stretching? Are you getting yourself ready to play before you go to that first tee? I mean, I stretch every day, and even if I've been pretty active and doing anything, when I get to the golf course, I'm going to go through my a few routines that I have. The first thing I do is I stretch my shoulders out like this, 5, 6, 7 times each way. I'm stretching everything across my chest muscles, my shoulders, my back. Then I'll take my arms out, I'll put them out like this both ways. I'll stretch my arms like this, both ways like that. And then I'll take a club and I'll put it over myself like this and get a stretch. Sometimes I'll go like that and get the lateral stretches. Then I'll just get down and go to my toes, stretch it like that. Sometimes I'll put my hands here and push outward, which pulls my back and stretches my lower back out more. Sometimes I'll get there and I'll just stand up like this and get a stretch in my legs, with both legs like that. And then I'll take one club or two, I'll take a few practice swings, and then I hit it. Okay? I never ever go to the first tee without doing some stretching, unless I've already done it just immediately in the clubhouse or something. If I've done it at home an hour, 2 hours ago, I'm still going to re-stretch just a little bit. And I might even do that now and then through the round if I feel I'm getting a little bit tight. And you got to be stretched. So first thing I'm going to say is, if you haven't been stretching, stretch. Make sure your clothes, especially on those cold mornings, are kind of loosely fitted, and you got plenty of room, so when you swing, you can and you're reaching up for that nice 3/4 swing, that nothing's binding in your arms and in your chest in the lift, and especially when you're coming down, approaching to the ball and trying to shift, that this isn't binding where it's going to stop you from maintaining your spine angle or getting to the ball properly. Okay, so pausing is not good. I explained that in the beginning. So the key is why is it happening? Once you understand the why, then you know you got the right cause. You can now get the right solution. Okay, so I think we probably covered most everything it could be, and hopefully this will help and get back and let us know, because I know a lot of us have that problem, especially when we have to play with a lot of clothes on, But the key is never play without having stretched out. Never start swinging on a practice range, and especially on the course, until you've stretched some. Okay? That's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.